For the last 30 years, you've been celebrated as the independent one who was always there and put everyone else first besides yourself. You were there for your kids, your spouse, work. But what if the invisible habits that earned you all that praise were the chains that are now keeping you stuck? If you're like me, the virtues that I built my life around were now the walls of a cage. Hi, I'm Ann Johnson. I'm in my 60s, and I've lived through perimenopause, menopause, teenager, and the loss of a job in my 50s. I've pretty much seen it all, and I would love to share what I've learned with you. Feeling stuck at 50 isn't an inevitable crisis. It's a transition. I used to have this nagging feeling that even though I did everything that I was supposed to do, I was missing out on me. I mean, it felt like success on the outside, but I felt kind of like I was running in place. Anyone else feel like that? This chat today isn't about regret. It's about clarity. This is the time that you either reinvent yourself to be even better than what you are today, or find your world slowly shrink, and you don't want that. So today, we're going to talk about 5 habits that keep women in their 50s stuck. This is not about laziness. It's dressed up in responsibility. There is a chain that binds you. This is a guide to help you break free. Number 1, the disease to please. The first habit was probably drilled into you when you were young. That's when the word yes just pops out of your mouth before you even think about it. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can bring brownies to the bake sale, even though you don't have time. Yes, I can do that project, even though it is way beyond your capacity. Yes, yes, yes. I said that word constantly, and I bet some of you are saying it too. For decades, I thought the word yes was my superpower. It's what made me a good wife, a good mother, a good daughter. My whole worth was wrapped up in my ability to feel needed. Anyone else like? After 50, the game changes. Your kids may be teenagers or even grown. Your career may have plateaued a little bit, and you're still bending over backwards for everybody. When I was doing that, I was leaving myself scraps of time for me, and I really deserved more than that, and I think you do too. This isn't about being nice. Psychologists call this a survival method. It's a mechanism that has outlived its usefulness. And the result is resentment and a feeling of losing yourself. I woke up one day and I didn't even realize what I wanted anymore. I had spent my entire life catering to everyone else's needs. I did not know how to cater to my own needs. I mean, I tried to keep the peace among everybody so long that I wasn't even aware of the turmoil that was welling up within myself. So what's the game plan? For me, it was setting up boundaries, not to be aggressive, but as an act of self-respect. Start small. You don't have to give a defiant no from this point on, but instead of automatically saying yes, take a minute and say, I don't know if I can do that or not. I'm going to have to check my calendar. That way, you're not giving an immediate no, but you're not committing yourself to something that is way beyond your capacity. Next, schedule time for yourself. Schedule it. Put it in your calendar. And it could be reading a book, taking a walk, going to the gym, whatever you want it to be, but schedule it. Don't just say to yourself, well, if I have time. No, make the time. It's for you. Habit number 2, the perfection trap. I mean, I shudder to think of the opportunities and fun I missed out on because I didn't think I could do it perfectly. I restricted myself. This habit is especially sneaky for women over 50 because you've spent a lifetime showing how competent you are in everything. And suddenly, you're going to risk not doing it perfectly. I mean, for me, the idea of being a beginner again was terrifying. But you know what happens? If you stick with what you know and don't try to go for those special things, regardless of what they are, your world shrinks. And the older you get, the more it shrinks because you're just staying in your lane. Perfection is nothing but fear in a fancy dress. It's the fear of failure. And I get it. Nobody wants to fail. But if you don't try, that's a failure. If you're so busy avoiding errors, you're avoiding life. So set realistic standards. Don't go for perfect. Modern neuroscience confirms that our brains are plastic and are capable of forming new connections. You're capable of doing these new things. So don't set high expectations. And I hate to say this because it sounds mediocre, but it's not. And that's good enough. If you've made an effort to do something, do it for good enough. And then strive to do better with it. You'll open up your world. The goal is to break the all or nothing cycle. You can build momentum one imperfect step at a time. Number 3, downplaying your achievements. How many times has this happened? You get a compliment and you automatically throw it away. Oh, it was nothing. Oh, I had a lot of help. Take the compliment. You deserve it. You were probably taught to be humble, to share credit. But there's a huge difference between being arrogant and owning your success. When you don't own your success, you're not being humble. You're telling people that you don't have value. And you do have value. You accomplish this task. When you diminish your value, you become invisible. I had decades of work, experiences, and successes. But then I realized by not owning them, it was like sitting on a treasure chest and not acknowledging there was any money inside of it. I was the treasure chest, and I had the money inside me. I had successes. You do too. The strategy: become your own best advocate. Get a notebook. Start a journal where you write down your successes. You probably have numerous successes per day. Write them down. And these successes don't have to be huge. They could be organizing the bills. They could be finishing a report at work. Regardless, you succeeded at it. Write it down. The point is to train your brain so you can see what competence you do have, how successful you really are. Then practice accepting compliments. The next time somebody compliments you, say thank you. You don't have to say anything else. A simple thank you. I appreciate that. That's all. Own your success. You do this and you'll start internalizing your validation. It's not a need for validation. It's about teaching yourself to accept it. Before we go on, let me know in the comments which of these habits you have. It could help all of us. Maybe you have some habits I won't be mentioning. And if you could, please subscribe. Thank you. Number 4, putting your job before your career. This 4th one is a subtle one, but it does help your career. And let's face it, just because you're in your 40s or 50s does not mean your career is over or stalled. You still have a lot more years left. Keep in mind, your job are the tasks you do every day. Your career is your entire professional journey. Big difference. For years, being a hardworking member of the team meant something. It established loyalty on the part of your employer, but that's all changed. Loyalty is rarely a two-way street anymore. If you've spent 20 years concentrating on immediate tasks without developing new skills, you've made yourself more vulnerable. For many, it's staying safe, keeping in your lane. But if you haven't been networking and you haven't taken on new skills, you're going to have a crash in that lane. So what's the solution? Become the CEO of your career. Block out an hour a week or more if you can to develop a new skill. Take part in webinars. Call up people that you've known over the years who probably work for other companies. And I don't mean go job hunting. I mean just, hey, what's new lately? Just basic questions to learn what's going on in your industry. You want to constantly be doing market research and staying connected. Get outside your bubble and see what's going on new in your industry. And number 5, the fear of This brings us to the most foundational habit, and it's probably the worst. You've spent a life slipping into this comfort zone. You know what? Nothing grows in a comfort zone. The belief that you're too old to change is probably the most destructive thought you can have. I mean, these insidious thoughts like, it's too late to start a business, or I'm too old to go back to school. That's not reality talking. That's fear. Your brain is wired for the familiar, but the familiar can be destructive. And as a result, you become miserable. The resistance to change locks in all the other habits we just discussed. You won't set new boundaries because you're afraid of imperfection, because you might fail. You won't explore a new path because of fear of the unknown. Invention requires you challenge these old beliefs, and part of that is challenging your fear. So how do you start dismantling your fear? You challenge it with small actions. Curiosity is the opposite of fear. So look at things you're curious about. Explore what you're curious about, even if it's just listening to a new genre of music. Try a recipe of something you've never cooked before. Indian food, have you ever cooked it? Try making it. Go a different route to work. Just break into little things that you've never done before. These small acts of novelty help rewire your brain. Your brain will see it not as a threat, but as an adventure. Create a vision of yourself. What I did was I made a list of paper, and you could call it a bucket list if you want, but I wrote a list of things I wanted to try or do in the next 10 years of my life. I wrote down where I wanted to go, how I wanted to feel. It wasn't a rigid plan, but it was a plan. I put down my feelings. One thing I wrote down was I wanted to freelance write, and that's what I do now for a living. This will be like a guiding light. It'll shift your focus from what you could lose to what you could win. These 5 habits, once the foundation of what you are, can be a roadblock to a successful second chapter. Breaking them wasn't about becoming a different person. It was about fulfilling myself as a woman, as a human being. It's about letting go of the rules that you didn't even develop in the first place. They weren't even your rule. Create a meaningful life on your own terms. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for the chat.